I'm Tara Joseph, looking at the Asia week ahead with Wayne Arnold of Breaking Views. And Wayne, we've had a nice long week of holiday in China. In the coming week, a fresh spray of data to give us clues as to the state of the economy. What's going to stand out?
Well, it's back to reality for China, unfortunately. I think China still has a long way to go before it starts to sort of slow and recover. We'll see a bigger slowdown. We've got trade figures coming out, and I think those are going to reflect the weakness in the global economy that's still working through the system. You've got services PMI, which is actually really bad news. Now, the official numbers have already come out, and they're very, very sour. That surprised everyone.
It's just a gloomy story, isn't it?
It's a pretty gloomy story. I think at some point it's going to start to turn around. We're seeing some strength out of the U.S. economy. That's going to be good news for China and the rest of Asia. But in the meantime, you're going to see more sluggishness in the economy, the government trying to respond to that as fast as possible. So we have vehicle sales coming out. I think those are going to start to soften after a slight recovery, and then sort of start to bottom out as consumers succumb to the fact that exports and domestic economy are starting to slow.
You're sounding optimistic. Let's move over to the other BRIC country, which, well, relatively
Relative to
optimistic.
the past, yes, yeah.
India. You just came back from India,
I did,
actually.
yeah.
We've got Tim Geithner on his way to Japan via India.
Yeah, he keeps following me around. I don't know what's up with him.
Well, what's happening there?
He's on his way to Japan, obviously, and he used to live in India when he was a boy. So he's going back to check up on the economy, not because he, was so into touch with it when he was a child, but I think to
get in touch or to check out
as part
the
of the
economy?
dialogue. India is taking on a new strategic importance with the U.S. vis-a-vis China. I think he's there to help cement that economic relationship. And actually, what will probably surprise him there is it's a different India than when he was supposed to go there in June. I think back then they were warning India about some tax policies they were trying to impose on foreign investors and retroactively on some foreign investment deals. India's changed a little bit. They've changed their finance minister, which is a huge breath of fresh air. She'll be meeting with Chidambaram. He's a technocrat. He's very, very good at what he does. And the economy, you can feel the difference in India. Things have improved immensely. Investments picking up. Foreigners are coming back in. India's sort of regaining popularity among foreign investors, and quantitative easing out of the Fed also helps.
So looking good for India, and I'm going to read your column on that as well. Let's travel to Japan, another gloomy spot.
With Geithner, right.
Yeah, with Geithner, and more data, and the IMF meetings all taking place in Japan.
Right.
What's the data going to tell us?
Well, Japan's data, I think, are going to confirm that the best is over for Japan after its post-earthquake recovery, and I think things are going to start slowing down from here. Their machinery orders, I think, are going to show some sluggishness because of China. That's where they sell the industrial robots and things. I think the trade numbers are going to be very weak, and that's going to reflect on consumer confidence in Japan. So I think from here on out, that's going to put pressure on Japan's current account, and we could actually, and are already seeing a little bit more weakness in the yen.
Okay, so just give me a sum up. Is the worst over in Asia? Are we going to see weakness?
No. We still have extreme weakness in Europe, which is looking like it's hitting a recession. China is still slowing down. Japan and Korea will follow that until the U.S. actually starts to pick up, which unfortunately for both candidates will come probably after the elections, when we might see some traction out of the U.S. economy when quantitative easing works or doesn't work. And then all that money may start coming out and lifting markets in Asia. In the meantime, I think basically investors are trying to play both sides against the middle.